There is a smaller kind of triangle-shaped hammock in the front yard, and adults think it's like a shade cloth or like something for the garden. 2 kids came to my house straight away. They're in it. They could tell it's a hammock.
Yes.
And I'm like, see, to me, I'm like, see, kids haven't lost touch with creativity and playfulness. They are interpreting everything as play.
Hi Rockstar, and welcome to episode 306 of Stand Out Get Noticed. I'm Christina Canters, Communication Skills Specialist. I help ambitious leaders to build unshakable confidence and create more impact at work. In this episode, I'm so excited for you to meet author, illustrator, and all-around creative powerhouse, and my dear friend, Alyce Verheijden. Alyce has just published her very first book, The Patchwork Girl, which is a visual poem about embracing every different piece of who you are. We sat down in the StudioPod to have this conversation, and we're talking about creativity, playfulness, and how having a serious professional life is not necessarily mutually exclusive or in competition with your creativity. So if you're wanting to bring a bit more creativity and playfulness and fun to your everyday life, this episode is for you. You've just finished and published your very first book.
Yes.
The Patchwork Girl.
Yes.
Here we go. And today we're going to have a conversation around this book and what inspired it, and I just want to learn all about it and get it out there into the world.
Amazing. Thank you.
So tell me, Patchwork Girl.
Yes.
Give us a brief synopsis. How would you describe this book?
This book, The Patchwork Girl, it's basically a metaphor. And I used like a clothing-based metaphor because I love clothing and fashion and sewing. And it's a metaphor about belonging in the world that you find yourself in. So she's a patchwork girl, but she lives in a world that is not. Like it's as you grow up, you're meant to become streamlined and sophisticated. But she's like, but I'm a patchwork. Like I love every part of me. I love every different personality trait and interest. And she doesn't want to let go or shed any parts of herself. But she increasingly doesn't feel like she belongs, you know.
Is spoiler alert, is the Patchwork Girl you?
How did you guess? Yes, it is.
Oh.
It is a story. It is. My dad actually called it a visual poem. And I think that's actually a really great way of describing it. It is a visual poem and metaphor of my own growth and learning who I really am and exploring facets of myself, and then feeling like brave enough to show up in the world with all those, like as a multifaceted human, even through fearing that, I might be judged by certain people for being like, too whimsical or too serious or too bossy or too sexy, all those things that classically women worry about. Yeah.
It's funny because you and I kind of see us as like, we're partners in crime in terms of like, we can be successful mainstream professionals and also be creative and fun and groovy at the same time.
Absolutely.
And those two things are not mutually exclusive.
Yeah. 100%. And I love that. And it's really interesting. I was reflecting recently, like with having this book and really kind of presenting on social media as like this creative artist person. I'm like, a lot of people might not know that I actually run an engineering company. And so there's this whole like juxtaposition there, which I like. And that kind of is part of what the book is about too. Like I don't necessarily share about too much about the creative things at work because I'm the boss and I want them to take me seriously. But at the same time, and then sometimes I pretend like that to creative people, I'm like, oh yeah, like what do you do?
I write books.
Yeah.
I'm an author. So tell me about the inspiration behind the book, because at one point this was an idea, like something came to you and then you put into action. So I want to hear about the inspiration behind the book.
All right. So the original idea came to me. It was actually when we were locked down in COVID and we couldn't go out and do all the things we normally did. I actually started making a patchwork quilt because I had sewn before and had since a child. But patchworking, and I wanted to do a huge one, and that takes quite a long time. It's like cutting and piecing it together, and I'd never had time for it until then. And then simultaneously, I also started like a self-development journey. I studied William Whitecloud's course called Natural Success is his kind of business, but it was called Create Your Destiny. And it's actually about teaching the intuitive, like a process around getting in touch with your intuition. And that just changed how I approach things. And through that too, I realized how significant creativity is to me and creative expression. I'd always tried to do the right thing and, university, business, traditional type career path. And so it was kind of the beginning of my questioning of, what do I really care about and what I want to center my life and focus on. Whilst I was literally also sewing a quilt, and I'm like, I'm a patchwork girl. Like, my whole life is a quilt. Like,
Yes.
Some people think this is such a beautiful thing. Some people think they're really ugly. But a patchwork quilt, for example, it always has a structure and a pattern, a purpose. There is design. It's not a chaotic mess. And so I often thought people saw me as a chaotic mess because I had so many interests. And I guess, the actual sewing gave me the concept.
Yeah.
And I think I always saw it would be a book, but I did not believe that I would, finish the thing at that time. That was 6 years ago.
What do you mean you didn't think you'd finish the thing?
Well, it's a lot of work to make a book. I also have a lot of, I had a lot of self-consciousness about how my drawing has improved a lot in 6 years, as you could imagine. I'm like, I don't think I'm a writer.
Yeah.
I hated reading and spelling in school.
So here we are. So it's done. Yeah. So how did you get started? What was the starting sort of planning process?
The process has been pretty intuitive, actually. I started drawing, I think the first part I drew, which was the first part where it sets up the word, imagine a world where everything is, where your clothing expresses who you are. And I drew kind of that scene, and I was really focusing on that feeling I had of people in my life seeming to be worried about me because I hadn't picked a path that was very clear yet. And I didn't know, I was very sure of that feeling, but I didn't know how to resolve that in the story. And, reflecting back, I realized that's because I still had to live and learn and unpack all of these things for myself. So whilst I knew the metaphor, I didn't embody it yet.
Yeah, you didn't have the learnings yet to actually come full circle and finish it.
Yeah.
So did you learn those things in order to then complete the book?
Yeah. Well, actually, to continue on, that is how I created the book. There's basically 6 archetypal characters through the pages that sort of were things that I learned that revealed something about me that I thought was unacceptable.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's a character, the first one, and this is probably the first character that dropped in for me. So she's called Rava. And she's very, she's representing anger, right? She comes out as anger, like fire and aggression. And I was feeling I noticed I had a situation going on in my life I was really angry about. I was like, I'm not allowed to be angry about this. I kept trying to push it down, which is one problem. But then I was like, but hang on, this anger's pointing out something to me. There is a problem that I need to solve. And there's a situation I'm not happy with. There's a person that I need to remove from my life and my space and my environment. And that's confronting. So I'm like, the anger's actually here to help you push into seeing your boundary and then taking action on it. And that's what this character kind of ends up yelling at the Patchwork Girl. Like, you know, you're not saying no. You're overriding that in yourself. So I learned that lesson in my life. Because I was working on this book, kind of, it's almost like a journaling creative process in a way.
Yeah.
And working on it, I was like, oh, this is like a whole character. And it's fun to me to like personify things. It's like, what would this like angry, rageful woman look like if she was just allowed to exist in her full form? And that's kind of what I end up drawing and then crafting words around that.
Well, that's a therapy technique. Like actually like personifying your emotions such as your anger or your sadness and being able to separate yourself from it. So you're not like, I am the anger. It's no, the anger is just one part of me and I can talk to the anger and I can, you know, treat it as something separate to me, which then makes it much easier to deal with.
Yeah. Which is really cool. And I have since learned this after doing the book because people are like, that's like
that's a thing.
That's a process. I'm like, yeah, I guess. And I love that too because it also kind of points out that I did really create this book very intuitively just through processing and like interpreting my experiences of my life.
Do you have a favorite character in the book?
Yes.
Can you share her with us?
So, okay, here we go. Straight to the middle. This is my favorite character. Her name is Myceli. And she is like a trickster character.
Okay.
She is like this playful, jiggle things about, jestery almost.
Okay.
But
what does it say? Can you read out that page?
It says, well, this is how she emerges. It says, oh, good, you're unstitched enough to play now. She emerges to the Patchwork Girl when she's kind of let go of some things. And this, Myceli represents playfulness. To me, playfulness is such an important part of life, and it is something, once again, that is so often suppressed and judged as being immature or like you're not serious. Like all these thoughts hold that playfulness down. And so this character basically bounces into the room, you know, and she's like, you know, let's play, like let go of all those extra things that you're still holding on to. Like that is what this character is like reminding us of. See, her pockets are full of glitter and witches spells, you know.
So I'm sure, well, I know for a fact that there are many people out there who have started books and never finished them, myself included. Tell me, what were some of the challenges that came up for you throughout the book that may have like threatened to derail you?
Great question. And yes, you are so right. And it's interesting now that I've got this when I talk to people, like lots of people are writing books. I kind of feel like I want to go and help them finish them. So maybe I will. Something that has really helped me is like having a coach and someone that you're accountable to, basically. I mean, it's because that's what I want, of course. They're not going to hassle me. But when I mentioned doing the intuitive training with William Whitecloud, and since then I've had an intuitive life coach.
Okay.
So right now I work with Alex Harvey, and she had like the cool thing about working with an intuitive coach is you're kind of seeing the same vision. Like she could see how important finishing this book was and completing it, and she helped me realize I needed to take it seriously. Because I had been just treating it as a cute little side project that I talk about occasionally. So having, that like accountability of someone else seeing the vision and being like, you know, this is really important. And then me also seeing that it was really important. So I knew I had to keep working on it. But towards the end, I got a bit stuck. So I had all the characters and I was like, I know the full story. But then it was like my perfectionism like came in and I was like, oh, I don't know if it's going to be perfect enough. I don't know if my drawing is good enough. And so actually working with Alex, it also helped me just accept, I'm like, the earlier illustration is a different style to the later illustration in the book. And I was judging that as not being okay. But like actually learned to see that becomes part of the story as well, because it is a story of like a journey of growing and changing.
Did that perfectionism become a character?
No, not really, actually. Surprise, because that's
Maybe the next book then.
yeah, maybe it's definitely maybe it's more like an like the villain character that
Yeah.
perhaps. So yeah, having someone to keep you accountable.
Yes.
I then ended up setting a deadline to finish putting the book together, and just had to be like, this is when it will be done. I actually was away when I finished it, so I had less other things going on in my life.
Okay.
Like, that's when I gave myself the deadline, and I had a party to celebrate finishing putting the book together.
Did you schedule that party before it was done?
Yes.
That is so clever.
Yes.
I love that. A very real deadline. I love that. So who is this book for?
Good question. So this book, it does look like a children's book because it's really for your inner child. And it is meant to be, it is a quite complex message in some respects, but also very simple. So it's for anyone who's lived long enough to doubt themselves.
So what would you say to people who, I guess, are feeling that pull towards doing something creative, but they're feeling themselves being held back by their own inner voice, or which is, quite often the voice of society or the voice of people around them telling them that being creative isn't going to, amount to anything?
Stupid voices of society. I really think that humans are all inherently creative. And I think it is definitely a lie that is kind of propagated throughout our education, like primary school. It starts where it's like, oh, well, you're not as good at drawing as this person, therefore you're not creative. And I'm like, what is that? We're all creative. And I see it as an important part of expressing yourself, of learning about yourself. For me, this book is about metabolizing myself, like who I am, what I was learning to express. And I still am learning from this book, which is pretty cool. And so I think, what would I say about creativity? You should do creativity for yourself. You don't have to show anybody. You should create. It is inherent within us, and it shouldn't matter what other people think. And it's easier said than done, I understand. So you can do it in secret. You can I mean, my creativity was in secret for most of my life because I wanted people to take me seriously. I could not explain what this book was even about for years. I was like, oh, I'm doing a thing. Yeah, don't worry about it.
Yeah. I think there's also we tend to have a very narrow view of what creativity actually is.
100%.
And I'm the same. Like, so we both went to architecture school.
Yeah.
And I remember the design subject was my worst subject at architecture school. And that made me think, oh, I can't draw, therefore I'm not creative. Yeah. And then when I started my own business and went out into the world, I had people going, you're the most creative person I've ever met. And I'm like, are you serious? What? I didn't, so because I had a very narrow view of what creativity is.
Yeah.
So like if someone's thinking, oh, I'd love to be creative, but I'm not good at drawing, what would you say to them to sort of open their minds up to the different ways you can be creative or express yourself creatively? I want to shoot some ideas at people.
I love that question, and I totally agree. And I'm like, well, cooking is creative, arranging flowers, arranging a room. You could write poetry, you could write anything. You could just start doodling on a page. I love seeing an activity of you could just splat watercolor on a page and then you just start doing fine liner around it. Like you could just do like a creative type exercise. That's pretty classic. But gardening, anything where you have a vision and then you start working towards it is creative. How you dress, makeup, the way makeup is done, hairstyling. Yep. I mean, music. I forgot about music. That's a huge one.
Yeah.
We actually do creative things within our lives, but we don't necessarily think about it as though it's a creative activity. Because I think our definition has been narrowed, like you were saying. Yeah.
Sort of limited to painting, drawing, and music. Dance.
Oh,
also
yeah, I didn't even
dance,
say
so
dance.
move our body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think play is also quite creative. Like kids nail it. They know what to do.
Yeah.
Actually, it's interesting at my house. I've got these different kind of hammock things in the backyard.
I've seen videos of those.
Yeah.
Okay, it's much more cooler, much more cool and more dangerous than a little hammock. It is a gigantic net that is suspended very high up above head level from the trees in your backyard. So you've essentially made like a canopy that you can lie
That's
on.
true. Yes. But there is a smaller kind of triangle shaped hammock in the front yard. And what's really funny about that one is it's not as obviously a hammock because it's just like a structure. And adults think it's like a shade cloth or like something for the garden. 2 kids came to my house straight away. They're in it. They could tell it's a hammock.
Yes.
And I'm like, see, to me, I'm like, see, kids haven't lost touch with creativity and playfulness like we tend to as we go through life. They straight away, like, they are interpreting everything as play and creation.
Yes.
And so I suppose the challenge is to try and like reframe what is creativity. Like, what do you see as creative in your life? What, makes you feel a bit playful if you're doing it? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you also in your, serious professional life,
yes,
you're the boss of a fire engineering company.
That's correct. Yeah.
How does your creativity or like being creative inform or support you in that role?
That's an awesome question. I have found that, business is inherently creative because it's also a way of thinking.
It's so much problem solving.
It's problem solving, which is what architecture is about. It's like you're presented with this problem. It's like I find in the business, like it goes into sales a lot because it's like we've got these clients being confused consistently about the same type of thing. How do we make that easier for everybody? Like, do we need to make a training video about like what this aspect of fire safety is? Or do we, write an article or describe it, better in our fee proposal? So it's not this like wild, untamed creativity, but it's a problem solving thought process. Yeah. And then, I get to design the website and more visual creative things as well.
Yeah. I think it's really important for people to see it as, again, like being creative and doing the more kind of boring, like adult stuff or whatever, not mutually exclusive, because I think as you're working your creative muscle and you're allowing yourself to express yourself and open your, what is it, like the right brain? What's the creative brain?
Yes, it's the right brain that they say is the creative side.
So if you're like exercising that and stretching it and giving it practice at working, it's going to then naturally start working more everywhere else in every scenario.
Yeah, I agree. And it makes me think too, because we've talked about we both came from architecture. And I picked architecture as a profession because I'm like, great, it combines creativity and like, serious job, which it does. But I got a bit like disheartened at how little creativity and opportunity there is. It's a very practical, administrative heavy profession, especially when you're starting out. And I actually found a lot more creativity when I went over to working in an engineering company, and I was like, this is the work bit that's paying the bills. Then I did a lot more creative things on the side. And like creativity, I think it needs space. And so like not having it in my job gave it space to start to thrive. And it's, becoming a bigger and bigger part of my life. And that's exactly what I wanted to happen. And what I thought of when you were talking is it practicing creativity in another sort of sphere and format, it does come back into your job, no matter what your job is. You can do, I think, any profession in a creative way, or it will benefit from creative thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about play? I think play is also like an attitude. What can you share with people as to how maybe they can bring a bit more playfulness into their lives, apart from installing a gigantic hammock in the backyard?
That is like a step. Yeah, that's quite a big step. I mean, bubbles are great. We have bubbles around, like bubble ones around the house. I think that's cool. I actually had a story from work the other day. like sometimes a little object can incite play, like because it inspires people. So I bought this like extendable like pointer, like a whiteboard pointer that had a little finger like hand on the end. So they look
like an actual finger.
Yeah, it's
like
it's like a tiny little hand, but it's miniature.
Okay.
So you can point to things.
Okay.
And I bought it so that I could point to people's screens when I was talking to them because I got impatient at how slow they were to see what I was saying.
Like, no, up more.
Yeah.
The button
I
up.
was like, point, right? So then I got this and it makes this little tapping noise. Like it's like a little bit silly, like comical to use, even though I'm actually trying to use it for a serious thing. And then we ended up, everyone in the office got one. And then it was like this full on, like we're like tapping and someone's trying to join two of them together. I'm not sure what he was trying to do. But it's just like this little object, which I did in fact get for a very practical purpose, just created this sense of playfulness and fun because it's a little bit silly looking.
It's a tiny little hand.
It's a tiny little hand. And I think it just kind of brings out the childlike thing. And I mean, we have a pretty safe workplace as well to express. But it's, I think that's really cool. So
I love that.
Thank you. Yeah, little objects. I do think playfulness is a state of mind. There's a feeling in your body as well. And so my mindset answer to that is also to enter into your like play state, you really got to try and drop what you think other people are thinking about you because no one's even thinking about you. They're thinking about themselves.
I know. I try to, like, if I'm in the supermarket and a song comes on that I like, I will sing out loud to that song. Not like loudly, but I'll sing and I'll kind of do a little bop, but I might. And if I'm there with my 5-year-old daughter, I'll be like, hey, should we dance to the song? And I try to encourage her to also do that in public. And because I know like it's quite scary like singing and dancing in public. But I try to do that to sort of practice letting go of the fear of, oh no, don't look silly in front of other people.
That's right. And because playfulness is a state of openness. Yeah. Like you're available to the world to receive. And so you got to put down those closing up things.
Can I share a story? The other day I was getting coffee. We were at this conference, we were in the city, and I was getting coffee, and I heard this group of men in suits walking towards me, and they were talking loudly, and I heard one of them say, oh, really? I'm Heidelberg Heights. And someone else goes, oh, I'm Greensborough. And they're both like northern suburbs in the northern parts of Melbourne. And I immediately turned around and went, Preston. And they just like looked at me like, who the F is she? And I'm like, I'm just joining the conversation. Yeah. Like, we're all like northern suburbs. And I thought that I was hoping they would react a bit more playfully. Like, but they were just like a bit taken aback. But I was like, I think it's fun to just be silly like that and kind of randomly like talk to people and just see how they respond.
And that's exactly it. That's what the open state is. It's like you're aware of things that are going on and you're like, how could I interact? Yeah. Because that's what play is. It's like, here's a ball. How do I interact with it? Like, and also just being around children, that always helps because they just know. Yeah. They know how to play. Everything is play for them. Yeah.
This morning, my daughter was like, Mum, let's do face painting. And I'm like, okay, I'll go, because I actually do face painting. Yeah. She goes, no, we'll pretend face paint. And so she pulled out like a puzzle and she was starting to use the puzzle pieces to pretend to paint my face. And she was she loved it. She was awesome. So she was like, and then she would look in the tree. I'm like, okay, finished. And then she'd look in the tree trunk and go, oh, I look fabulous. It's great.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Kids are great. Alyce, yes. Any final comments or things you wanted to share about this book? Apart from where to get it, because I'm going to ask that next.
That one's obvious. I wanted people to know that it is not really a children's book. It's not inappropriate for them, but it's, you need to have lived life a bit to understand the emotion that I've really tried to bring forward in this. To me, this is my like a gift to the world about like it's okay to be who you are. In fact, it's awesome, and the more people that do it, the better. This book is designed a bit like a coffee table book, really. Like, it's something that you would have sitting in your home, and you would just kind of pick it up, and you might like look to one of the characters and be like, oh yeah, I want to embody my like inner Jester a bit more today. So it's meant to be like a bit of inspiration for tapping into some of these parts of yourself.
So it doesn't have to be read in a sequential page order.
I don't think so.
Well, that's not very creative,
well,
is it?
I mean,
front to back, how boring.
Yeah,
let's
read it back to front, see if you can figure out what's going on.
Read it upside down.
But I often just open it up to chunks and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. But it's a very, like, it's very dynamic. It has its own like kind of energy, life force, I think, because I'm like, this book feels like it's magic because it keeps reminding me of who I am. The story is about showing up fully expressed, and I had already forgotten to do that the other day. And I was like, no, remember who I am. And it is a story that is very personal and vulnerable from me, but people that read it, they see parts of themselves in it. Like,
and now that it's out, how do you feel about promoting it? Because that's the next step now. Getting out into the world, saying to people, here's my book, you can buy it, give me money for my heart on the pages. How's that been for you so far?
That's a whole new book journey in itself. I was very nervous at first because I'm like, how very dare I ask people to trade their money that they earned for something that I created. But then I sort of started, shifting. I'm like, why not? Isn't that what we should be doing?
Yeah.
And it's an invitation. No one has to buy it. Like, it's optional. And well, what it kind of started to like trigger for me was like, oh, I might upset people by asking them to like trade money for art. And I'm like, yeah, but they don't have to say yes, or they don't have to tell me they don't like it, or it's rude of me to like. It's acceptable to ask this question.
And if they say no, it doesn't mean that they don't like you as a person. You're still great.
Yeah, that's
like,
right.
but this represents me in all of my facets.
Yeah, and yeah, absolutely. And yeah, it's pretty raw, but I have a little bit more distance from it now, so it's okay. But yeah, I think that is something that also creatives do find hard about selling their creations, because it is a little piece of your soul, or quite a few pieces really, and it feels very vulnerable to ask people to even look at it sometimes. But it definitely becomes easier. I have really started to enjoy seeing like the little orders come through, and I'm like, oh yay! Yeah. And then I like writing in them when I send them off to people. So it's become a different type of creative experience. And I'm like, oh, now the storytelling is telling about the story.
Yes. And
I definitely feel there's a lot more that's going to come through with this kind of like concept. And
so keep an eye out for the Patchwork Girl box set.
Yeah. Yes, I am
2030.
working on the second one.
The second one. There'll be 5 more in the works, I'm sure.
Oh, okay. Yeah, probably.
Well, congratulations, Alyce. This is a mammoth effort, and it's a beautiful, beautiful book. And I wish you all the very best with getting it out into the world and inspiring more people to be their best creative selves.
Thanks, Christina.
Most important question, where can people buy the Patchwork Girl?
Yeah, so you can buy it directly from me on my website. My name is Alyce Verheijden. My website is a shortening of that. It's averh.com.au. You'll find a page, The Patchwork Girl, and there's also an Instagram for it at the.patchwork.girl.
Beautiful. Thanks so much, Alyce.
Thank you, Christina.
I really loved this conversation with Alyce Verheijden. She's so amazing. Make sure you check out her book, The Patchwork Girl. I will link up to her website and where you can connect with her in the show notes of this episode. Thanks so much for joining me today. Keep on being awesome, or should I say, keep on being creative. And I'll see you in the next episode. I'm Christina Canters, and this has been Stand Out, Get Noticed.